May I request Uday sir to please start the meeting?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, all. Firstly, I would like to thank the Caregivers Asha Society for having a MOU with Indian Myeloma Academy Group and coming forward for this noble cause of supporting the caregivers. We always keep talking of the patients, but many a times in the complete journey, we forget about the caregivers and the amount of stress and the trouble that these caregivers are in. And we often forget to help them out and to prevent caregivers burnt out syndrome. So, for that particular part of it, Indian Myeloma Academy Group has partnered with Caregivers Asha Society for helping out the caregivers. And this is an introductory session wherein we will have a, a preliminary introduction of the Caregivers Asa Society. And we will ask a request Arvind Mathur sir, who heads the society, to kindly elaborate upon what the caregivers support means actually. And thereafter, we will have the various people who have joined, the patients and the caregivers, to ask their questions to the expert group. Today we have Tapan sir, who is the senior most executive member, founding executive member of Indian Myeloma Academy Group with us as one of the expert faculty. We also have Pankaj sir, the president of Indian Myeloma Academy Group. And shortly we will also have Dr. Joseph Joan and Dr. Brigadier Das sir, who will be joining us as an expert group. With that, I would like to thank the expert faculty and the Caregivers Asha Society. And I would like to kindly hand over the stage to Arvind Mathur sir to introduce the society and also to help us to explain a bit about the caregivers uh, support that is required. Over to Mathur sir, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Colonel Uday. It has been our privilege to be associated with Indian Myeloma Academy Group. And I feel that each one of us has either passed through the stage of caregiving or are in the need of care itself. And we realized it that often people with chronic ailment, disabilities, or the old age, they need the care which decides their quality of life and the health itself also. With that in mind, it was in 2019 that we started the Caregivers Asha Society, which has the mandate of supporting the family caregivers. The family caregivers are the hidden support in the healthcare system, which are often unrecognized, and often they suffer without being supported. So we thought that let us start with some support system for the caregivers, particularly the family caregivers. Because when we talk of caregiving, there are either a formal caregivers which are being paid for, or the informal caregivers, which are either a family member or a friend, relative, neighbor, or somebody who is trying to help people. So with the idea of supporting the family caregivers, we started this particular society, which tries to build the skill and knowledge of the caregivers. With our own personal experience, we realized that often we start caregiving without having a proper knowledge of what has to be done. Suddenly one day, with a stroke of a light, somebody would develop a disability in the family, and all the family members are thereafter converted into a caregiver. So we felt that let us try and build the knowledge, skill of these caregivers. They often suffer alone because they are not getting support. So we try to develop networking amongst them so that they can find support for their needs itself. Because often it has been noticed that the caregivers, they also neglect their own diseases. So the self-care of the caregivers is another important thing. So with these things in mind, we have started this particular society, which is trying to build the educational resources, trying to train the family caregivers, and trying to spread the message or advocacy for the recognition of family caregiving as an important issue. So with this, when we were working, we had the privilege of coming in, connecting with Colonel Uday, and we realized that myeloma or the cancer is one condition which suddenly changes everything in the family. And then you need to have a family member who would take care of the person. And as has been mentioned, that they may not be caregivers themselves only, but they are more than that, they are the care partners, because all treating physicians, oncologists, they realize the importance of the care partners who would be useful for decision making, who would be useful for the care of their patient or so. So with this thing in mind, we had this collaboration, and we are here to just learn from the experiences of the caregivers and try and support them in any way we could. Here, before we start with our other activities, I'd like to introduce my team, the members of our Caregivers Asha Society. I'll just call them. They would just introduce a, in a line or two before we start with the other activities or so. So we have our secretary, Dr. Priyadash Patni. Sir, over to you for your introduction, sir, please.
Good evening and namaskar to all. Myself, Priyadarshi Patni. I am working in the capacity of secretary for the Caregivers Asha Society. We have been actively working in the field of educating the caregivers and providing the necessary help to the seekers who actually need it. Thank you so much. Over to Avisha.
In the meantime, can I pass on to Rupesh ji?
Sure, sir. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rupesh Purohit. I am member of Caregiver Rasa Society and a financial planner. I provided financial assistance, especially information about financial assistance program, insurance coverage options, and resources for managing healthcare costs can reduce the financial burden on caregivers. Thank you.
Thank you, Rupesh ji. May I ask Sumi Matthew, our nursing supervisor and tutor?
Good evening, dignitaries. I am Sumi Matthew, currently working as a faculty at Government College of Nursing, and I have been associated with Caregiver Society regarding this training and caregiver.
Dinesh ji, again our nursing tutor, principal of nursing college. Dinesh ji.
Hello.
Yeah, Dinesh ji, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, please.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, please. I just introduced this program by Dr. Mathu sir, and I'm just having the interest to work with this Asha Caregiver services, and I hope that the program will be successful in the future, and we have the planning to start the training of the caregiver soon.
Dr. Avisha, can you connect now? Okay, okay. Khushbu?
Hello, sir. Hello, everyone. My name is Khushbu Sharma, and I hold dual graduate degrees in history and journalism. From a young age, I knew I wanted to use my talents to make a positive impact on society, and this led me to produce multimedia content that educates and engages the public for the betterment of society. I'm grateful for opportunities like CARES that allow me to fulfill my lifelong purpose of service through my talents. Those are video production, content creation, and media coverage. Thank you so much, and access from 2-3 lines.
Okay. I think I'll request our psychologist, Jyoti Saxena, to Jyoti is there online. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Good evening, respected dignitaries. My name is Jyoti Saxena, and I'm a psychologist, as Dr. Arvind Mathur introduced already. I'm sorry, there is some problem here with the connectivity. So I'm just trying to switch on the camera.
Okay, no, it's all right if we or audio is all right, no problem, please. Uh, okay.
Good evening.
Vinod ji?
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
I am Vinod Sharma. Basically, I am pharmacist associated with Dr. Arvind Mathur sir since last 25, 30 years. And now I am privileged to associate with this ASA Caregiver Society. And as a pharmacist, we are doing whatever the help we can provide to the older persons.
Okay. Dr. Rashmi ji?
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, sir? Good evening, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you, ma'am.
Yeah. Good evening, all the members, all the dignitaries, all the guests. I am Professor Dr. Rashmi Rajpal Singh, a professor of literature and a floral artist, and trying to work under the guidance of Dr. Mathur. Whatever is delegated, I'm learning and I'm moving with the flow. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Dr. Avisha, can you connect now?
Hello.
Yes, yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Namaste. I'm Dr. Avisha Mathur, and I'm an ophthalmologist working in SMS Hospital, Jaipur. And I'm also a healer and a counselor to help the caregivers to deal with the stress of caregiving. Thank you.
Dear colleagues who are there with us online today, we have just tried to introduce our team, which is available with us. We'll like to hear from you all also about the way and what has been your experience of taking care of somebody or having been a care recipient. As Rosalind Carter said earlier, that there are only 4 types of people in the world. One who is presently caregiver. The other one is he was a caregiver in the past. The third, who is probably care recipient now. And fourth, who will be caregivers in the future. So everybody in on earth would have this role sometime or other. And we all experience different things because it's in a 24/7 job which has to be taken care to take care of somebody who is near and dear and who is having some problem. And in that case, we realize that particularly when you are managing somebody with a cancer or a myeloma, the problem doubles because of the emotional issues which are associated with the diagnosis itself, the prolonged illness which is there, the complexity of treatment which is there. Nowadays, with the advancement in the therapy, we find that there are so many complex treatments for which the caregiver also has to learn those complex management protocols. In addition to this, financial burdens are there. Your own health is at risk. You find difficult to cope up with the day-to-day working. So there are so many issues. Besides this, of course, besides all these stresses, there is always a positive aspect of caregiving also. That gives you a feeling of being supportive to your family. It gives a sense of self-satisfaction also, of having cared for somebody whom you love so much and you wanted to do something. So caregiving is not all negative all the time, but it has a positive aspect also. At the Caregivers Asha Society, we try to balance both. We try to support and encourage that particular part. Along with this, providing some support, some help at some point to our caregivers. So I'd like to learn from our members who are there today with us online and learn from them. And before we start talking something more about caregiving or so, so uh, uh, I'll just whom I can see. Can I call you and just request you to give your version or your feelings about it? Can we start with Mr. Mewala, Madam Mewala, and Niluji and Dilipji? I can see that right away.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mathur. It is wonderful and amazing work which Asha Foundation and Asha Caregivers Society is doing. And it is our honor and pleasure to meet you personally online. The kind of work that you guys are doing is really commendable and appreciable, acknowledged. The similar work basically at Myeloma Friends that we are doing. In fact, we are educating caregivers. And on top of that, see, the education is very, very important. What I understand, when I was detected some 14 years back with multiple myeloma, Dr. Tapan Saikia only, inspired me to do this awareness and education and all that thing. So Dr. Tapan Saikia, Dr. Pankaj Malhotra, and all these stalwarts, they are actually a backbone who have always guided. They have mentored us what to do, how to do, and all that thing. So thank you very much, all the faculties at Image Society. And we understood that, education is the most important part, right? And the rest of the everything then follows the, awareness, and then the take care support system and all that thing is followed by that. And our doctors, panelist doctors, they are doing a wonderful job in evaluating the disease, right? So we are doing all these things. But today I have Neelu, my wife, with me. She has been a wonderful caregiver. मैं तो ऐसा कहता हूँ कि अगर केयर गिवर नहीं होते तो हम नहीं होंगे, पेशेंट नहीं होंगे. एंड ऑलवेज मैं कभी भी चांस नहीं छोड़ता हूँ कि मेरे पास 5 फुट का एवरेज पहाड़ है. अगर ये एवरेज पहाड़ नहीं होता तो मैं जिंदा नहीं होता. बहुत सिंपल है. सो ओवर टू यू नीलू. You can share as a caregiver. This platform belongs to you now.
Thank you. Namaste, सभी लोगों को. First of all, you can see me. Everybody can see me. The first thing, caregiver should learn to smile in any situation. A just simple smile can give so much positivity and energy to the patient and a full house environment. From last 14 years, I am with him, and I never ever felt that he is sick or some disease in my house. And that courage given by my kids. When first 2010, doctor said it's multiple myeloma. Then a simple thing, small kids, they say, Mama, if you want that dad should survive, you should not change. You should not spread sadness if something happened to daddy. So that is the main thing. You inside, I know something is wrong and I have to do all these things, but outside, my experience is that if caregiver is happy and smiling and doing everything positively, the result will 100% positive. And the next thing Dr. Mathur said, first of all, take care of yourself, caregiver. When you are strong, then only you can take care of the patient. So you need double energy. So you save double energy, then half you can give to your partner or patient or anybody. So that is my experience, and still it's going on, and it will be going on happily. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Neeluji and Dilipji. I think you are the ideal care partner or the
Yes.
caregiver. And we at Caregivers Asha Society have always felt and have tried to do that, to felicitate these care partners and the caregivers. They are unsung heroes in our society. they hide their problems, and on the surface they will come with positivity. That's so great, and that is, I can realize the emotions through which you are might be going on, because we all have gone through such personal issues. But this is what is needed. Caregiving and the care partner needs strength, and their strength is the strength of the person of whom they are taking care of. I always tell in my practice that the quality of life, because I practice geriatrics, okay, so I am usually surrounded by the older people or so. So I always feel that the quality of life of all my older patients is directly proportional to the quality of the caregivers they have. So caregiving makes a lot of difference, and we need to felicitate you for your such an excellent effort which is going on, and the positivity which you have spread. That is more important, because caregiving and addressing such problems is not always a negative thing, and we need not be always be talking of some problems. There are so many positive aspects of it. I can tell you the sense of satisfaction which comes after doing this is unimaginable, unmatchable.
Yes.
I thank you, heads off, madam, and we'll really love to keep connected, because please connect with Caregivers Asha Society, because your examples will help us to spread the similar message to all our uh, people, all
Sure.
those who need it.
Sure,
Sure,
sir.
sir. Sure, sir. Thank you. I would like to add one more thing. Patient also needs to take care of caregivers, right? Because patient has to be selfish. I always say that patient has to be selfish. The more you need service from caregiver, then you have to take care of the caregiver also. You cannot only depend on caregiver. And another thing is, when we are referring to problems, I always say problems, they don't exist only. They are adversities. And adversity always comes with an opportunity. If you fall down with the adversity, then there is a issue. But when you convert, if you start thinking about that this adversity has come with opportunity, so what best you can come out of, you can bring out of that adversity, is very important. Thank you, sir, and we will be in touch with you, and we will do a great job together. Thank you very
Thank you.
much, and thank you.
That's so encouraging for us. Thank you. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Dr. Uday, for connecting with Asa Society also. Thank you.
We are also grateful to Colonel Uday.
Thank you.
He only brought us together.
Thank you, sir.
Basically. May I request our other participants to come up if they would volunteer, or the name as it appears on my screen. Mr. Agarwal, Ram Agarwal, and Mr. Agarwal. Yes, sir. Yeah. You are muted, sir. You are muted, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can we hear from you about your experience, or what is your feeling or so, please?
डॉक्टर अरविंद माथुर साहब, मैं एक्चुअल में मल्टीपल माइलोमा का पेशेंट हूँ और पिछले 1.5 साल से सफ़र कर रहा हूँ मल्टीपल माइलोमा से। और मेरी वाइफ रेनू है, वो मेरी केयर गिवर है, और केयर गिवर भी के पर भी इतना ही बर्डन है, इतना ही बर्न आउट है जितना पेशेंट को होता है। और मैं फील करता हूँ कि मेरे से ज़्यादा जो है ना, जो है एफर्ट्स एंड ट्राई और बर्डन और जो भी है पूरा फैमिली का और मेरा दोनों का, उनको भी ज़्यादा इसे सहन करना पड़ता है। और दैट्स
सर, आई लाइक टू टेल कि आपने जैसा बताया कि आपको अभी 1.5 साल पहले मालूम पड़ा Uh,
indeed.
luckily,
Yes,
now
sir.
in last decade or so, things have
Yes,
changed so much for myeloma management that
yes,
there is a great light uh, for the cure or for the management of this particular disease. So
yes,
that is one thing which is positive about it at present. And
yes,
having such a good support at home is also a great thing. And I really thank Madam for taking up all the complexities of management and helping you out. But
Yes, sir.
and as you have seen that with the examples which are around, please stay connected with people. You'll find that there are so many excellent examples around which help us to come out of these stresses, these problems. And later on, after decade, you will realize that, oh, we passed through that particular problem with this support or that support. So I think that is one thing. And as was mentioned by Dilip sir also, information is very important. Educational information about the disease, about the caregiving, etc., is very important, which you must have been receiving from the experts who are treating you. But please stay connected for any information or knowledge you would need for taking care of somebody. Because I realize myeloma caregiving has got something more than routine caregiving of a disabled person or so. Herein, you have to manage the medication, you have to take care of certain precautions about the infections and certain precautions about the complications, etc. So please stay informed, and you are most welcome to connect with us to get any information you might need for your coming time of care for sir. And sir, it's going to be with the present scenario, uh, we are very optimistic of positive management of this particular ailment.
definitely.
We wish you all the best, sir, basically.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Uh, can I request if somebody would like to volunteer, or I would request Mr. John if you have any comments, sir.
So I completely agree, and I'm honored to be here to discuss with you. And I'm happy that your team, sir, and Mr. Navada's team is collaborating with this. And the wholesome treatment of a patient is pivoted on how the supportive care is given. It is not the disease we are treating; it is the individual we are taking care of. And in that whole gestalt concept of looking at the individual, not just the disease, caregivers' role is very important. And you have really elaborated on that. I don't need to add on to that. I just want to appreciate you for doing this effort here. And I think it is an example for the entire medical community to rise up to the occasion to have other chronic diseases also to come on board and have such meetings.
Sir, it is our privilege to have you with us, because while listening to our colleagues and patients, we always wanted your expert advice about this. Your support is important for us, sir, basically. And I think your presence boosts the morale of all the caregivers and the patients themselves, basically. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. So just so my apologies for being late also. For a few minutes I was late. I was just into the discussion to that. I got caught up with another issue here. As I said, I just want to add on that. It is as important for the patient, it is important for the doctors also. It's a relationship building process, what we are doing here. It is a relationship which is going to be anchored around the disease, which is the person is going to be evaluated.
Yeah. So, Sir, thank you. Thank you very much, sir. May I request Gayatri Bhatt,
Yes.
ma'am, to share her experience or share her version, please.
Sir,
Over
sir,
to you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello,
Sir,
yeah, Dr. Dinesh.
Dr. Gayatri Bhatt is the longest survivor and maximum experience she has. She has been surviving since last 24 years. She is the, she is our brand ambassador. And she has actually conquered the myeloma.
Yes, uh, that's a great encouraging news for every one of us, basically. Over to you, ma'am, please. We'll like to hear from you, ma'am.
Good evening to all of you, and it's very kind of Dilip Bhai to say what he did. And I hope that we all can achieve that kind of cure for myeloma. The thing is, what I would like to say is that yes, the role of a caregiver in the management of any cancer and myeloma is so important, but that many a times we see when we come in contact with patients um, uh, and their families. So when we sort of visit them or when we counsel them, we realize that the whole atmosphere at home, once the diagnosis of a cancer or myeloma is made in the family, the whole atmosphere of the family becomes very morose and very serious kind. They just as if it is the whole life has come to a standstill, and that they are sort of confused. The caregivers are also confused. The patient himself is going through a lot of dilemma as to what is going to be next in store for him. So at such times, educating the caretaker, caregiver, and the patient about the disease, about the kind of outcomes and what kind of care should be given at home, is very important. Especially when I try to speak to the patient or the caregiver, I always try to tell them that they should try to make the atmosphere, they should keep the atmosphere normal. Like Neelu had said with Dilip Bhai, that they continue to live the normal, like nothing changed after the diagnosis. It has to be that. But it is not easy because a lot of things are troubling the patient. Everybody is not so financially stable because the moment you have a diagnosis of cancer in front of you, you are worried about the financial costs that you have to be incurring. You are worried about the rest of the family, how they are going to survive. So a lot of such problems are there with caregivers, and at such times, the caregiver himself can be under so much stress. They neglect their own health. So counseling them and making them understand that how important it is that they take care of their own health, and then helping them with the other issues, like where we have like as in it is nice to know that an NGO like Asha is also helping the patients, counseling the patients, and we do that with Yodhas and with the myeloma friends also. Wherever we can help the patient, advise them as to how to get help, financial help. So we do advise them because treatment is expensive. It's a long treatment. The treatment is expensive. It is not easy for everybody to incur those expenses. So that is where we have to, support the caregivers and the patients. That is one point. Also, we need to make many a times the caregivers, in my experience, when I talk to them, they do not want to tell the patient everything. They don't want to tell the patient how bad the situation is. And sometimes the patients are really sick. They do not have much time. So we generally advise them that, wherever you can, especially the patient, they should share whatever financial liabilities they have, etc., with the caregiver and with the family, so that it is not difficult for the family later on. Because I have seen so many families who come to us later on and trying to help them to sort out those financial difficulties after a patient passes away or something is really too much on the family. The care means the family is really running from one point to the other, just trying to you know complete those kind of debts or whatever. They don't realize what all what all has been left behind by the patient. So these are also some points. I know it is a little negative to talk about, but they need to be told. A patient must be, and his caregiver should be made aware of everything, so that they do not, at no point they have this thing that they are facing uh, such situations. Also, many patients, many families, there is a denial. There is denial in them to accept what's the diagnosis and what is going to be the outcome. So, educating the patients and the families about the disease, about the treatment options, is a very important step in my opinion. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for highlighting the part of information which is needed. Today, we are privileged to have a very senior oncologist, the members of Indian Myeloma Academy with us. So I'll request Professor Tapan Sekia to say a few words to all our members today, which would support them and be helping them to come out of this particular situation or so. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, Dr. Mathur. Dr. Mathur and colleagues, what a wonderful initiative. We are here today on this platform to learn from you, not to talk about other things. It has been 44 years in the field in oncology for me. I never knew of any society like this. There are many NGOs, but this is one thing that so marvelous, so wonderful. We learn from you. It's beginning. I can see that, as I said, 44 years, because when I entered the field of oncology, I was 27 years. Now I'm probably one of the oldest member in the oncology community in the country. So that has been a long journey, but every caregiver has been so different. I keep learning for every caregiver. When they walk into my room in the office, my focus is not the person who is suffering. I know about that, but focus is the body language, the talk about the caregivers. They come in 1, 2, 3, as many members they come in. There'll be parents, there'll be children, there'll be all kinds of relationships. So it's a learning process for all the time. And that Nilu and Dilip Mewada, they are different from any other patient or caregiver. Nilu, I have been always very positive. You don't get that kind of caregivers all the time. But whatever their character, whatever they are, I suppose we need to remain focused as the care doctors or the nurses, on the professional side of it. Really appreciate Dr. Mathur. I think this is one thing that I'm very happy that I've come on this platform today to spend some time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. It has been so encouraging to hear from you. It has been so encouraging to hear from you. Being a medical professional and caregivers myself, I realized that our members who are other family caregivers without the knowledge of healthcare, they might be suffering a lot because of this. And there is a definite need to include them as a partner for all the healthcare decisions which we make, or the healthcare plans which we make or so. So it has been really encouraging to hear from you today. It motivates us much more. And it was indeed our privilege to have the update over here at Jodhpur when this particular we begin with this association. I have a privilege today to invite Professor Pankaj Malhotra sir also, who blessed us at Jodhpur for the update, to give his words of encouragement for our caregivers, which gives hope to everyone. And I know, as a physician, they are giving hope to everyone whosoever comes in contact with them. Over to you, sir, please.
Yeah. Good evening, Dr. Mathur and all who are present here. मेरे को बहुत ही अच्छा लग रहा है and I'm very happy कि after the signing of MOU we are having this meeting, and I'm sure we have to make this meeting as a regular feature. I would just like to share कि केयर गिवर्स को समझने के लिए when I entered the field, so we thought कि केयर गिवर्स के लिए कुछ ना कुछ होना चाहिए. So I think we published three research papers which I would share with you, Dr. Mathur, after this meeting. Mainly जो acute leukemias है, जहाँ पे हमें लगता है कि burden ज़्यादा है, वहाँ पे we did these kind of studies in acute lymphoblastic leukemia and acute myeloid leukemia, which are two forms of very aggressive blood cancers. और वहाँ पे हमने अभी डिस्कस किया है, सभी ने डिस्कस किया है केयर गिवर्स के बारे में, अबाउट द फाइनेंशियल बर्डन, अबाउट द हेल्प जो उनको प्रोवाइड करनी होती है, और उनके अंदर जो जो केयर गिवर का रोल है, दैट इज अ वेरी वेरी प्लेज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट in the I would say curability of the disease or taking care of the disease. दिलीप मेहता जी ने बड़ी अच्छी बात की और नीलू जी ने, और सबसे अच्छी बात उनकी ये लगती है, अगर आप उनका ऑनलाइन देखो तो उन्होंने नीलू जी का नाम पहले लिखा हुआ है, तो लिखा है नीलू दिलीप मेहता, which means the caregiver actually are more important than the patient themselves. So I really feel very honored to be part of this meeting. And एक मिस्टर राम अग्रवाल जी ने थोड़ा सा बोला था, तो I would just like to say one comment which I actually say to all the patients. So आप ये मत बोलिए, राम अग्रवाल जी ने बोला कि I am suffering from myeloma. Please don't use the word suffering. आप suffering मत बोलिए, आप ये बोलिए कि हाँ, मैं जो भी आपका प्रोफेशन है, मैं इस प्रोफेशन में हूँ, हाँ, और साथ में मेरे को माइलोमा भी हो गया है. So don't suffer word means कि negative चीज आ जाती है. So I would encourage all the attendees who are caregivers or who are the patients कि आप suffering word को मत यूज कीजिए. और जैसा कि बाकियों ने भी कहा कि caregivers को भी उनकी भी केयर करनी जरूरी है और पेशेंट की भी केयर करनी जरूरी है. और दिस इज द एक्सपीरियंस, एंड डॉक्टर तपन सेकिया एंड ऑल अदर माय कोलीग्स वुड एग्री कि जिनकी केयर गिविंग अच्छी है उस पेशेंट्स में हमेशा आउटकम बेटर होता है, और जहाँ पे केयर गिवर सपोर्ट नहीं है वहाँ पे हमेशा जो है ना, वी फेस लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स दीज डेज. ऑलमोस्ट जो भी हम पेशेंट्स देखते हैं, काफ़ी सारे फैमिली मेम्बर्स, सभी के बच्चे जो है ना, वो इधर दे आर सेटल्ड इन USA, UK, कनाडा, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, एंड वो जो लोग हैं उनको देखने के लिए या तो सर्वेंट हैं या कोई सेकंड थर्ड काइंड ऑफ अ फैमिली मेंबर्स हैं, और उतनी अटेंशन वो नहीं पे कर पाते जो कि एक्चुअली जो एक केयर गिवर से हम एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं. सो दैट इज अ चैलेंज इन अवर सोसाइटी कि किस तरह से हम इस चीज को आगे फ्यूचर के लिए देख सकते हैं, क्योंकि बिना केयर गिवर के आप डॉक्टर्स कैन नेवर बी सक्सेसफुल. So thank you very much again for giving this opportunity, and available for all the help or whatever मेरी तरफ से जो भी कुछ contribution चाहिए होगी, I am for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Malhotra, for such an encouraging statement and your offer for support all the time, which has been there in the past also, and we are lucky to have it in future also. And as you mentioned that it is not suffering from this disease, we are probably living with this disease or so, and that is what is important. And you highlighted the importance of care partners and the caregivers themselves. And I think we are trying to create network or support system which would probably try to help all the persons who are passing through this phase of life to overcome those problems, or try to help them to overcome these adversities or so. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I have got a few caregivers and the persons who are online also. Will you like to speak out, Madam Advani?
Sir, I want to share.
Yeah. Neeluji, yes, of course. You have to.
When I see Pankaj Malhotra told me, thank you, Tapan sir, thank you, Pankaj sir. I just want, this thing is for all the caregivers. And in beginning, what I have experienced, in beginning, when the news comes, so all the relatives, see, in our community means India, the relatives are more worried than the family members. And I have experienced that more negativity brings the relatives. So you have to be very strong to say no till my patient will be all right. He's accept his disease. Then only you entertain your relative. Please, my request is that 50% of energy of caregiver consumed by relatives and visitors and making them. So please don't entertain when it is a beginning of the disease. Let them settle down. Then you tell I will call everyone to meet Dilip or meet whoever is it. But be strong to say no to relative. This is my main point I want to share. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, another thing I would like to add is, likewise, Dr. Pankaj Malhotra said, change your vocabulary. मैं ये कहूँगा कि भाई basically we are healing myeloma. We are on the path of healing and curing myeloma. Instead of that, saying that I am suffering from myeloma or I am a myeloma patient. Instead of that, I am healing and curing myeloma. I am on the verge of that. So that is the right word. That is what is the affirmative words, affirmative sentences are there. So that needs to be a thing. And one more thing, we also have Miss Monica Sathe with us. She is also a wonderful caregiver. Okay, so after Advani ma'am, you can call upon Monica Sathe.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. Monica ji, you could begin. Please, Monica ji. Monica Sathe ji. I hope if you can hear. Dilip ji, I think I'm not able to connect to her. Can I request Neena Advani ji to share her views? Okay. I have got Dr. Avisha Mathur also with me right now. She is a though ophthalmologist, but is a healer counselor. I think I requested her to give us a simple, some relaxation exercise or procedure which she can share today. Over to you, ma'am.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
So I'm very grateful and honored to be here today. And आप सबकी positivity और smile देख के मेरा दिन बन गया. The way you all are taking and the challenges, the way you are facing those challenges, I'm really very. It's very overwhelming for me to say anything for your in words of appreciation for all of you. As you, ma'am, Neelu ma'am shared, like you have to be positive and you should be with a smiling face and with a positivity, with the positive energy and a high on vibrations, you can take care of your friends and family members who all are going through all this disease and also for yourself because the emotional overwhelm which we all go through while seeing our family members going through and facing such hardships and challenges in their lives. It's very emotionally overwhelming for all of us. So today, there are many ways which these days we all practice, like yoga, meditation, breathing exercises, and affirmations like Sir's shared. Like those are the positive sentences. When we use it, we reframe our subconscious mind to be in that positivity. So here is a little bit exercise which I would like to share with all of you to release your stress. It is called emotional freedom technique, which is EFT or tapping. So there are few points which we can tap and we can release the stress. So on a scale of 0 to 10, just take the stress which you have in your mind. Like it can 10 being the maximum and 0 being the lowest. And after taking a deep breath, just bring all that emotional or the anxiety or anything which you are facing at that moment. And then just tap on this part of your hand like this and repeat after me. Even though I am having this anxiety due to my emotional overwhelm, I now choose to let it go. Even though I am facing stress in this situation, I now choose to let it go. Even though this stress and anxiety is causing a lot of overwhelm, I now choose to let it go. And then we can tap over here, the inside of the eyebrows, and just tap and say anything, whichever you are feeling, like ये मेरी एंजाइटी, मुझे नींद नहीं आना. अगर आपको नींद की डिस्टरबेंस हो रहा है, आप सो नहीं पा रहे हैं, तो ऑल whatever you are feeling like, इस स्ट्रेस की वजह से मुझे नींद नहीं आ रही है, मुझको इस तरीके से हमें यहाँ पे टैपिंग करनी है. साइड ऑफ द आई टेम्पल्स, अंडर द आई, एंड below the between the nose and the chin, and just bring all that whichever things are going inside your mind यहाँ chin पे, and just keep tapping on the collarbone point और अपने side of the arms पे. और इन सबको जब हम टैप करेंगे तो हम जो भी हमारे अंदर चल रहा है इमोशनल, उसको हमने यहाँ पे लेकर आना है और हम सबको बोलते बोलते हमें टैप करना है. तो मुझे नींद नहीं आ रही है, मैं परेशान हो रहा हूँ, ये थकान जो मुझे लग रही है. इस तरीके से जब हम टैप करते हैं तो हम जो भी इमोशनल ओवरवेल्म है, जो भी हमारे मन की जो बातें हैं, उसको हम रिलीज कर सकते हैं. Because there is a lot of time shortage, I cannot guide you through all of the exercise. I've just shared a small exercise which you can do with yourself.
Thank you very much. Dr. Avisha is available for those who would like to connect anytime at any for their stress release or so. She is available with the Caregivers Asha Society to help out one-to-one stress management also, because they are undertaking certain other relaxation techniques also. So this is one thing which we could do. We have got Jyoti Saxena also with us. She is also a counselor who usually provides counseling to overcome these stresses or so. So that is one thing. Now I'll hand it over to Madam Neena Advani ma'am for her comments. You are muted, ma'am. You are muted, ma'am. Please unmute yourself.
Yes. I'm here on behalf of my caregiver. I'm the patient. I'm 71 years old, I was diagnosed with last year in November. So I'm on treatment right now, and it's a targeted treatment. Darzalex is there. I'm on Darzalex treatment, and generally I'm doing very well, and I'm a happy patient. So, in fact, I help one or two other cancer patients in the society here, because when I go there and teach them what we just saw, EFT, emotional freedom technique, I do that every other day. I don't do it every day, but I do tapping very often. So the cancer patients in my society, there are two of them. So I sit with them and do this tapping and talk to them about the problems that we all go through. And we all come out of it, I tell them. So the positivity, whatever I can contribute towards this problem to help other patients, I do that. So right now, my caregiver is my husband, and he's looking after me very well. We both are very happy being together and dealing with this. Yeah, I'm
Wow,
absolutely
ma'am.
fine.
It's
Thank
a
you.
wonderful
Thank
thing
you.
to
Yeah.
see that you are using this tapping with your
Still
patients. With
doing it for many years, but in between I forgot about it. And then जब वो myeloma आया, तो फिर हमने कहा अरे EFT का क्या हुआ? So it's like that.
yeah,
So I started
that's so
again.
great. In fact, for patients and for caregivers, everybody, it's a very good technique to release that kind of stress which we go through in day-to-day life. Wow. I am so happy and glad to see that somebody is practicing it all.
It's affecting the bones. So wherever there are bones, that area is getting a bit stiff, like my neck, my spine, and neuropathy issues. Those kind of things are there, but I'm learning and very much learning to deal with it. So it's nothing bad.
It's inspiring.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It is really inspiring for all of us to hear.
What a fantastic statement. I am learning at the age of 71.
Yes. Oh, 71. I'm young.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are the youngest one.
Hello.
Now I'd like to request Colonel Uday for his remarks. He is the person instrumental for organizing all this and realizing the importance of caregiving and connecting us with image. Over to you, Professor Uday.
So thank you, sir. It was a wonderful session that we had today. I'm happy for the active participation. I am really happy for the active participation, and I'm really thankful to Tapan sir, Pankaj sir, Joseph Jones sir for for sparing the time on a Sunday evening and attending this particular meeting. Sir, just a small few announcements I would say on behalf of Image. So in Image we believe in actions and not in just propaganda. So we are from the first meeting to now, I definitely see a huge movement, but I feel more can be done in association with Caregivers Asha Society. So for irrespective of the number of participants, we'll have it on every second Sunday of every month at the same time, and we fix this time and we keep this as a regular event to keep occurring, so such that the caregivers over a period of time they will keep adding upon, and we can have more fruitful discussions or helping those people who are actually maybe I would say require help. So that is the first thing. Second, I would also request Dr. Avisha to kindly forward any videos or podcasts on these various techniques, because we understand the limited 1 hour will not be sufficient for everything, but we will host those videos on our Image website, and such that more and more number of people can be helped with that. And third thing, every month our plan is to just at least recruit 15 to 20 caregivers into the Caregivers Asha Society registration portal or what Miss Khushbu is preparing, says that we over a period of time we have a lot of caregivers. So as many image patients we have registered with image, would like everybody's caregiver to be registered with the Caregivers Asha Society. So with that, I thank Mathur sir for moderating this particular session. I didn't want to really interfere at all in between and interrupt your discussion, flow of discussion. It was a wonderfully conducted session, sir. So, with your humbleness and your love towards passion towards the caregivers' attention that you say that it could be felt in the way you moderated the session. I'd like to thank Yodhas and MFCT for participating in this particular session. I'd also like to thank ASGI. Satish Chandraji is in the group as well. So, he is the current president of the ASGI. So, I would like to thank him also for being part of this. So, with this, I would like to thank once again everyone who is there in the meeting today, and let's meet up next month on second Sunday at the same time. Thank you all.
Thank you
so much,
very
sir.
much.
so much,
Thank
sir.
you for the great opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Yes,
Thank you.
everybody.
The show must go on.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, it was great privilege, Professor Sekia, Professor Pankaj. Great. Thank you very much, Professor Joseph John, and for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good night, all, sir.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night, sir. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
sir. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Have a
very
great
much.